Yankees and Mets coming up. Next week we have the U.S. Open at Shinnecock. So you got all the big golfers, all even coming into our area now, playing a lot of golf. Of course, you might bump into them someplace this weekend. If you're playing somewhere, on Long Island or something, you might bump into one of these guys if you're out there on the course. Sal in Masspeth. What's up, Sal?
Hey, Mike, yeah, speaking of golf, that's the reason I called.
Uh-huh.
I know I've heard you say you play golf sometimes.
Yeah,
I do it a little bit, too, and I like to watch the PGA on TV.
Gotcha, go ahead.
And I listen to Jim Nance, but here's what confuses me.
What's that?
It doesn't add up sometimes. Like in football, you get the hash marks, right? The mark off the field. Baseball, we all know it's 90 feet to the bases.
Hey, but what's the point, Sal? I'm missing you. Yeah.
So the point is, after, just say Tiger, he tees off with a wood, and he hits it 200 yards down the fairway. Now the Jim Nance will say, or the commentator with him will say, he's got 137 yards to the pin.
Right.
How do they know? Why can't they say approximately? They never do.
Because they have a guy out there, first of all. First of all, they know exactly because they have the whole thing now done on a machine where if you watch and they show you the flight of the ball on the other side of the camera, where they split the screen and they show you the other side, they are showing you where the ball lands. They also know exactly what the distance is to the fraction of an inch of where the ball landed. Also, they have reporters in the fairway who are talking to the caddies, and they will tell them exactly, and those guys have the same machines that the caddies have that will tell them exactly what the distance to the flag is and what club they're hitting, although there are players sometimes who have admitted to me that they will lie to the reporter once in a while about what club they're hitting, just to be a little different. They'll tell them, I'm hitting a 9 when I'm hitting an 8. I'm hitting an 8 when I'm hitting a 7. Whatever. So it might not always be deadly accurate, but most of the time it's accurate. He's hitting a 5-iron. He's hitting a 6-iron. He's 142. He's 100, and they know it's very easy to know the distances. Very easy. And those people, a lot of them, know those courses so well and are out there so much. I'm telling you, those guys who do that and walk those fairways every week, who are ex-golfers, those guys know. They can tell 100, I can tell 150 shot or 140 shot from 170 shot just by my eye, and any golfer can. So the idea that they don't know exactly how far a flag, it's something you get very used to very quickly. It's not a serious thing and not a tough thing to do either. Tim in Morristown, what's up, Tim?
Yeah, hi, Mike. If you had a choice, if you're LeBron James, give me your top 2 choices. Would you go to the Houston Rockets with the same team? Would you have Kawhi Leonard come to Cleveland, or would you go to the Philadelphia 76ers? I want your top 2 picks.
Well, I didn't hear you again. You got to give it. Mons was talking to me. You got to give it to me again. Go ahead, one more time.
So, would you rather go to the Philadelphia 76ers with the same team,
I got you.
the Houston Rockets with the same team, or have Kawhi Leonard come to Cleveland next year? What would your top 2 choices be?
I think my top choice would be to go to Philadelphia. It'd be easier to win through the East and then it will be in the West. Although they could win in the West, but it would just be easier to win in the East. And I don't know what kind of condition Kawhi Leonard's in. That's would be what would bother me. There is just what kind of shape he's in physically. That's what I'd be worried about. Colin in Marlboro, what's up, Colin?
Hey, Mike. Really enjoying the show today. I'm down at Delaware Park today. Me and a couple buddies went down, and I already got my Yankee bet in for tonight at -60. But I'm looking at some of the NFL futures. And the
Yankees were what tonight? 160.
Yeah, 160.
Yeah,
there's thousands down here, Mike.
That's a rough bet with Sabathia. That is a rough bet.
Yeah, but first night you got to take the Yankees.
Yeah.
Anyway, and I'm looking at the futures for the NFL, and there's some teams out there with some pretty good odds. If I gave you like $100 to put down today, have you looked at the odds to win the Super Bowl next year? The Giants are coming in pretty good. Around 35-40 to 1, depending on where you get it. And then you got the Colts, which you really don't know. You can get up to 50 to 1 on them. Do you have some teams that you think might do well against the odds next year?
I haven't really thought about it yet, to be honest with you. I mean, I haven't really given you the idea of what teams I think are long shots and ready to go yet. It's too early for that. I mean, I got to see teams in training camp. I got to know who's healthy, who's not. There's a lot of things, that can happen in an NFL season. You really want to wait until August to make those decisions about teams in the NFL. I mean, you can get a good idea based on schedule and everything else, but you also got to know who's healthy and who's in good shape. You could lose a key player in an early game, anything like that. Joe in Oceanside, what's up, Joe?
How you doing, Mike? Glad to hear you back.
What's happening?
You'll probably know what the question is going to be when I just mentioned 3 ball players this year in baseball. Let's start first with Justin Verlander. I mean, it looks to me like he's having the same type of career that Roger Clemens did. Completely done his last couple of years in Philadelphia, and now throwing better than he threw when he was a star.
You mean in Detroit?
In Detroit, yes. Now he looks better than even when he was a star in Detroit. He's pitching better now than ever. That was one guy.
Well, he was never Clemens. I mean, I don't think you're trying to say he was as good as Clemens, but
No, I'm not.
Yeah.
Right.
I understand what you're saying. But I don't like stories. I don't like angles that take me to a guy is doing steroids, because you know what? We can say that about anybody who ever starts to play better. Somebody's going to come up and accuse him of taking performance-enhancing drugs. I have no idea if a guy is or not, but to me, it's the most tedious, boring thing to talk about in the world. So we have no way of knowing. They are testing the players. Maybe he's beaten the test. I have no idea. Maybe he's found the fountain of youth. I don't know what the situation is. Or maybe he's just happy now. Who knows what it is? I just don't know. You know that? I don't know. But the bottom line is, I just hate the idea that everything always leads us back to steroids. It's just the most tedious conversation. Alan Paramus, what's up, Al?
Hey, Mike, when you talk about the Mets, you're right, they've always gone for pitching. But when you look at a 56-year history, I mean, when you look at the 5 greatest pitchers, which Tom Seaver, Dwight Gooden, I mean, where do you go after that? Kuzman, Matlack? And when you talk about the hitting, how could they only have Mike Piazza and Darryl Strawberry?
Mike Piazza's not their player. They didn't develop Mike Piazza, number one. They developed a pitcher you may have heard of by the name of Nolan Ryan. Maybe you heard of him. I mean, there's a lot of other guys you didn't mention, but they have always been a pitching organization, and they have not developed a lot of everyday players. We know that. John in New Hampshire, what's up, John?
Mike, I hope I'm wrong, but I got a feeling Cespedes is done. I'm not saying he's not going to come back, but I think you're going to get what you got last year. It was the weekend before he went on the DL. I think it was a Saturday night in a close game a few weeks ago. He stole second, and I almost had a heart attack. And
listen, he's got to get out there and play, and they need him to play well. If he can't, they got to deal with it. But they need him to go out, and they need him to play well. No debate, no anything else. He's got to get back here. He's been out since May 14th. They cannot win without him. They need him in the lineup. They need him there every day. He is imperative. The team cannot operate without him. First of all, against left-handed pitching, they're anemic. Secondly, he is a guy who can carry the team, and they need him. In the worst way, they need him. John in Paramus, what's up, John?
Don't you, now that interleague play, unfortunately, is here to stay, don't you think they should try and have, in these games, the American League play one set of rules with a designated hitter? Because this weekend, the Yankees, I mean, they're going to be out one good player every game.
And listen, it's the way it is. They got separate leagues. I mean, this is how we do it. It's the bottom line. What are you going to do? We've been, it's not a new phenomena. We've been living with it for a long time. We're coming to you live from the Town Fair Tire Studios. Plus, I love the Yankee Mets. People who don't like the Yankee Mets, it's amazing. The people who don't like the Yankee Mets are home watching it on TV. The people who go to the games love the Yankee Mets. I mean, because I go to the games all the time. I've been on an average of 6 games a year. I'd say the average is I go to 4, maybe 5. The Sunday night games, I'm not in love with at 8 o'clock. Those I don't love, especially in the summer where there's traffic and I've either played golf or been out in the sun all day, and I don't feel like going out till midnight on Sunday night. So that one bothers me. I don't like the Sunday night game. But other than that, and a lot of times it is the Sunday night game. But other than that, I'm usually at every one of these games. I'd say I've been to the average 4 a year minimum in all these years, and I love them. To me, it doesn't matter what the records are. Doesn't matter. The stadiums are almost completely full every time. Citi Field won't be full all year this year. There won't be another game except if they have a fireworks night or they're giving something big away. Will they have a sold-out game this year, and they'll be sold out when the Yankees come to town. That's why it works. And I'm telling you, I hear people, I can't stand this. Yeah, they're the same people don't ever go to a game, and they can't stand it. Hey, what's the difference? If you're watching it at home, what's the difference who they're playing? So to me, I love it. I love it. I like seeing people together in the stands. One guy wearing a Yankee shirt, one guy wearing a Mets shirt. You see it all the time. I think it's great. I do. I love it. And you know what? Nothing gets hurt. If I've seen the Yankees when they're rolling get beat by the Mets, you know what? Gives the Mets a couple days of bragging rights. I've seen times when, the Mets thought they were going to play well and the Yankees just stormed through them. We've seen moments where, there was bad blood. We've seen crazy plays. I think it's been great. I love it. I love the Subway Series. I always have. I think it's great. I'd miss it if it wasn't here. We're coming to you live from the Town Fair Tire Studios, powered by Town Fair Tire. Nobody beats Town Fair Tire. Nobody